Hey everybody, I'm Todd with Sweet Tea Guitars. Welcome to the Great Guitar Build Off 2023 and my entry for the scratch build category. Alright you guys, this is episode 2 and we're going to get started on the neck in this episode. I need to run this through the drum sander, get all this paralleled with the back. I've ran this side across the jointer. It's nice and flat. I've checked it with the straight edge. So we're going to get this done. I got the drum sander set up here already. We're just going to jump to it, you guys. This drum sander is the best purchase I've made in so long. And I've got a pretty used piece of sandpaper on this thing. I have sanded a bunch of wood with this thing already. We're just going to use that to clean all this glue off. So let's just jump to it. So I'll let you guys take a look at it up close. Now we're going to flip this over and run it a couple of passes on the other side to get it exactly parallel with the side we just sanded. Everything's looking really good. Here's that white ash I was talking about. I've made a decision though. I started thinking about it, and since this is going to be a tremolo guitar, that swamp ash was only 41 millimeters thick when I got it. I need a 44 millimeter thick body blank. So what I've decided I'm going to do is I'm going to use this Purple Heart top that I have here. This is a ribbon figured Purple Heart top. And I thought about putting this on the back, but I don't want to cover up that killer multi-laminate body I got going on there. So I am going to sacrifice this. Now, it's super thin. I would have to be really careful what I use this for anyway. Revealing the Purple Heart underneath the ash, considering I'm doing a purple fade on this guitar, I think that'll look pretty cool. What we can do right now is I can glue up this ash. This is the back. So I'm just going to run some tape, stretching it so it pulls the joint together. All right, you guys, my camera ran out of battery. I went ahead and put my tape on, but that's as far as I made it. There we go. All right, when I come down tomorrow evening, we'll pop the clamps off of this top. I'll get that Purple Heart surface down and get it glued up. We'll be ready to roll. I'm excited. Thank you guys for stopping by the channel. I'll see you tomorrow evening. Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. Tonight's Thursday, June the 15th. We need to get this Purple Heart top glued up. It's the last thing we've got to do before we can start making forward progress on the Ceres. I've ran this through the drum sander and got both sides down to 3.5 millimeters thick. This is going to give me exactly the thickness I need for the body. Actually, it's going to give me about 1.5 millimeters over, which is going to allow me some sanding room and stuff. Let's get this thing glued up. I'm not going to put any gloves on. Okay, we're going to fold this down. I'll rock it back and forth just a little. Take the spatula side of this thing and get that excess glue off of it. We'll do the same thing to the other side too. I squeeze the top together, stretch the tape, and then we just put the tape on there. This method works better than any other I've tried. It doesn't waste clamps. You can do several of these at one time. As you can see, we're getting squeeze out. And I discovered this method by watching Sean from Awing Luthery. This is how he glues up a top. And Sean's an incredible builder, so we'll burnish that tape a little. I'm putting it closer to that side because I want to be able to use these deep reach clamps to get this board down the middle clamp. Okay. And you don't need an excessive amount of pressure. All we're trying to do is hold this joint flat against that granite. There we go, one top glued up. That is absolutely the fastest way I've ever seen to glue up a top. If you've got a killer joint, which I've finally gotten good enough with a number 6 hand plane to get a good joint, you almost don't even need any clamps. The tape alone will work for this. If you can rub the two pieces of the book match top back and forth together, they'll almost form a vacuum with each other. And you can see squeeze out before you even start putting tape on it. If you're having to force it too hard to close any gaps, your joint's not good enough. Practice with the hand plane. A number 5 will joint a top, no doubt. That's how I used to do it. It's so much easier with the number 6, you guys. Hey everybody, welcome back to the shop. Tonight's Saturday, June the 17th. And all I've done so far is marked off where I want the end of my neck to fall and tentatively where my nut line's gonna be. Since I've already told you guys this is gonna be a rock and roll guitar, I'm gonna make this guitar a 24 fret, 25 inch scale set neck. I'm using a 3x3 headstock. This is a paddle headstock template for a set neck. Let's mark out this center line on this neck and get this done. It's late, it's 11:25 at night. I've been down here all day working on stuff. We'll go ahead and mark the nut out too, since I'm decently certain we're straight. There we go, there's our master center line. All right, let's copy this nut line over to the side and to the back of the neck so we know where it's at. All right, perfect. We know where our nut's at, we know where the end of our fretboard is. Let's draw out where our truss rod is gonna go. I'm happy with that placement. Now we'll need to mark our end. There we go. Go ahead and mark the end of our neck. We'll leave ourselves a little room. All right, you guys, let's get this truss rod slot routed. I'm using a solid carbide 6mm bit I got on Reds, which is a store on eBay. I've now got the truss rod slot routed in it. I've got tentatively where I want my headstock to sit, and I've already traced out my neck hill. What I want to do is mark in these alignment pins. Before we do that, however, what I want to do first is mark off the back of my nut line so I'll know where my break angle on my headstock needs to start. And I'm going to show you guys a way that I have figured out to do this, and you don't need a protractor or anything like that. I check myself after the fact with a protractor, but you don't have to have it. I'm going to mark off this nut line right here, and I've got everything referenced off of this same side right here. Anytime I want a nice, fine, accurate line, I always use a 0.5mm. Now I'll take my small square, and we're going to copy that line over to the side of our neck, blank. So there's the back side of my nut line right there, and there's the front of my nut, which will be the intonation point. So what we want to do is I want to take my headstock template, and I designed this headstock for these two builds I'm doing for the Great Guitar Build Off. We want to find out how much length we need to incorporate this headstock design. And I'm going to come about 4mm beyond, just to be safe. Okay, we'll copy that line over to the side too. This is crucially important that we get this right, if we plan on using this line to find our break angle on our headstock. That's good. Let's do the same thing on this side. That's good. Now, we're going to take this ruler, and on this back line, which is the end of our headstock, I want to measure up from the bottom of that the final thickness we want our headstock to be, plus 1.5 millimeters or so for sanding and whatever. So I'm going to say 16 millimeters. There's that line. All we have to do at this point is connect that line to the very tip of that back nut line. We're going to take our protractor, both sides of the protractor on the 90-degree flush with the front of our neck, and I want the center slit in the protractor to be on that back nut line. Now we're going to look at this line. We're at 9.5 degrees. I don't want to be at 9.5 degrees. I want to be at 7.5 to 8 degrees. I want to change that angle. And that mark right there is all I need to do that. And then I'll show you how we'll copy it over to the other side. I'm going to take my eraser and we'll erase that first line. Now, all we have to do to figure out how to duplicate this on the other side is measure up from the bottom of our neck blank to that line, and that is exactly 20 millimeters. So we can come over to this side of our neck blank and we'll come up from the bottom to 20 millimeters. I'll take my straight edge. That should be an 8 degree back angle. We're going to check it right now. Same thing, 86, 87, 88 is perfect. So now we've got an exact duplicate line. We've got our back angle line on that side, and we've got our back angle on this side. Okay, I know our headstock's going to need to be about 14, 15 millimeters thick in the end. So we'll mark it at 15 millimeters, and that's not counting our volute. There we go, there's our headstock. Now I'll draw in the volute later. 8 degree back angled headstock, done and sorted, no issues. So I figured out a method for finding a break angle on a headstock. And this is if you're okay with running an 8 degree break angle on the headstock. So if you've got a 2-inch thick neck blank or a little over 2 inches thick, sorry about the rain you guys, you could slice 21 millimeters off of it, plane your neck down to 39 millimeters thick, measure 16 millimeters from the bottom at the end of your headstock line, connect that with your nut, and you're going to wind up with a 8 degree, 7.5 to 8 degree break angle on your headstock. And it works out for me basically every time. And another thing I've done on this headstock template, I've designed this so I get a 1/2 millimeter of splay outwards on each side for a 3x3. What I really wanted to say about this template is I've designed this thing so this will fit on a 3-inch wide neck blank, which opens up a lot of possibilities if you guys buy wood like I do. It saves you on a multi-laminate neck blank as long as you observe this tuner layout and that distance from the center line on each of these tuners and that offset. You're going to end up with almost dead straight string pull. I will eventually make this template available. I'll link to my Drive account and let you guys download this template so you'll at least have the tuner layout even if you don't like the headstock shape. What we need to do now is take this neck template and let's punch in for these alignment pins. That's one of the things I love about these Maximum Guitar Works templates. They've got these hardened steel drilling bushings right here. You can super glue a small dowel into your neck blank and you can pop this neck template on and off this neck blank as many times as you want to. You've got perfect alignment every time. I love this. These are absolutely the best templates I've seen. I got an 1/8 inch center punch right here, little halter mallet. We're just going to take this center punch. All right, you guys, let's hop over here to the drill press and get these alignment pins drilled in. 2 there, and 2 down here. This is just 1/8 inch wooden dowel. I used a 3mm bit, and I found that this 1/8 inch dowel rod fits in that hole really nice and snug. So we'll need 4 of these. They don't need to be too long. I'll take just a little super glue. I like to get that super glue off so it does not hold my fretboard off later. Then we'll clip that. We only need about 3 or 4 millimeters be sticking up. Those 2 pins, those 2 pins. Perfect alignment every time. That's such a great feature. I'm probably going to leave the tenon ending where the neck blank's ending now, or where this neck template's ending now. That's going to give me about 1 inch of protrusion into my neck pickup cavity. And what a beautiful neck that's going to be. I don't know if I'll even put a cap on this thing, considering how that looks. I will see you guys tomorrow evening. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel, for the overwhelming response I got to the Kuiper Alpha build. Thank you guys so much for everyone who hit that subscribe button and watched those videos. Thank you even more so for leaving the killer comments you guys left about that guitar. I'm so happy with it. I'm going to continue to do giveaways, and I will absolutely continue to build guitars here on YouTube. I'll try to help anyone who needs to learn this, learn it while I learn it. That's what I've been doing since I started this, and I have no intentions of stopping. All right, you guys, when we left off last night, I had gotten my neck drawn up. We're about to slice our angle into the back of this headstock. What I want to do before that is to take the length off that I don't need to keep my bandsaw from having to work too hard. Then we'll take a hand plane to this surface and get this surface leveled out. I want an 8-degree back angle. We're going to go ahead and trim this in to where our tenon's going to be. I'm going to leave this a little over where I've got the end of the neck marked. I don't really feel like I need too much of an extended tenon on this because I'm going to join the body at the 17.5 fret line. I'm going to lop the heel end off first. There's one part gone. We'll need to raise our guide up. We'll saw this angle into the headstock. There we go. Now we got some hand plane work we got to do, but that's all right. I love using a hand plane. I've got my number 4 Ward's Master. I've got this vintage Sargent block plane right here that's got a movable mouth on it. And then, of course, I've got my Bridge City Tools HP8 thicknessing block plane, which I'm using as a standard block plane. I've got this little Stanley number 110 out here too, in case I'm not happy with the results I get out of the Sargent. I've got my square out, and I've taken a couple of swipes off this thing already. Looks like we're high on this side over here. So let's take our block plane. Way better, but we're still a little high down on this end. Now this little Bridge City plane's the ticket. All right, we're looking really good now. Let's mark out the distance we want from the face of our neck blank. I'm going to go 21 millimeters. Okay, let's take our ruler. All right, that is plenty thick enough. We'll have to remove a good bit of material, but I want to be safe. Same thing here, we'll mark 21 millimeters. Now I want to mark where our heel is going to start. I want at least 3 inches of neck pocket bottom, or we'll say 75 millimeters. But I also want to add about 20 millimeters to that for the tenon that's going to jut into the pickup cavity. I feel certain that's going to give us a really nice gluable surface too. So now we've got that line copied on the sides, on the front, and on the back. That is my heel. So I want to mark that area for the thickness that I want. We're going to mark 30 millimeters in 2 spots here. We'll draw that line in. We do not need a break angle on this neck. So I've got that marked straight up to that line. That obviously won't be straight. I'll flow carve that. You guys know how I'll do. Oh, we are perfect. All right, you guys, so this is where we are on our neck now. I've got it all drawn up. Everything's ready to be cut away as far as the excess material goes. I'm going to wrap this up right here. I promised myself I wouldn't let these videos get over 25 minutes long, and you guys know how I am. I'm long-winded. I got a lot to say. So I feel like we've got a pretty decent episode, and I feel like I've gotten a pretty good bit of work done. So I'm happy with where we are right now. In the next episode, we're going to get this excess material removed. I will leave a flat where my volute and my heel is, so I can still sit this flat on a table and it not want to rock on me or anything like that. We're going to get the fretboard, which is this beautiful piece of Catalox. We'll get it slotted, pre-cut, and ready to glue to the neck. By the end of the next episode, you guys are going to see what this neck's going to look like. I will have it at least partially shaped at that point. I'm not going to put frets on this neck until much later. I've gotten to a point that I like to wait until my finish is on the guitar and the guitar's almost ready for final assembly before I put frets on. That allows me to dress the fretboard, get rid of any little marks or scratches or anything that may have happened. And I think that's going to become really important on a set neck guitar. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you can stay up to date as I release the rest of the videos for this series and the community category collaboration build I'm doing with Gio from Tornella Guitars for the Great Guitar Build Off as well. We've got another collaboration coming up after that for the Jerks Cup. I'm super excited, and I hope you guys will continue to stop by the channel for a visit. I'll see you guys in the next video, and as always, peace and love.